Welcome to Lento Business English. Ready to level up your business English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
1. Introduction. Today, many people know Hyundai cars. They are popular around the world. You see them in many countries. People think of them as good cars now. They are known for good quality and being strong. Hyundai is one of the biggest car companies in the world today. It is the third largest producer of cars after Toyota and Volkswagen. But a long time ago, things were very different for Hyundai. Maybe 30 years ago, people did not think Hyundai cars were good. Some people even made jokes about them. They said the cars were cheap and not reliable. This means they often had problems and broke down. So Hyundai's story is interesting because it changed so much. How did a company that made cars people joked about become one of the best? This story is about that change, but it is also about the man who started it all. His name was Chung Ju-young. Chung Ju-young did not start as a rich or powerful person. He was born in a poor village. His family were farmers. Life was hard. They did not have much money or food. Chung Ju-young was just a farm boy. But he had big dreams. He did not want to be poor his whole life. He left his home when he was a teenager. This was the start of a long journey. He faced many problems. He tried different things. Sometimes he failed. He had difficult times, but he kept trying. He worked very hard. Step by step, he built businesses. He learned from his mistakes. He did not give up. From a poor farm boy, he became a very important person in South Korea. He built a very big company, the Hyundai Group. It is not just cars. Hyundai also builds ships and buildings. It is a giant company in South Korea. This story will tell you about Chung Ju-young's life. It is a story about going from having almost nothing to building a huge success. It is a story about overcoming problems and failures. It shows how one person's hard work and strong will can create something very big. It is the story of Hyundai and its founder. 2. A boy wants more. Chung Ju-young was born in the year 1915 in a small village. His family was very poor. At that time, Korea was under difficult rule by Japan. Life was hard and the family worked many hours on the farm just to buy food. Chung wanted to be a school teacher, but he had to stop school when he was 14 years old. He was the oldest child and needed to help his family. He worked with his father on the farm from morning until night. They worked hard, but often did not have much food. If the farm did not grow well, the family would be hungry for many months. Chung felt tired and unhappy with this poor life. He thought about his future on the farm and felt it was not enough. When he was 16, Chung decided he wanted more. He left his home village with a friend. They walked for many miles to a city. In the city, they found work building things. They did not get much money, but Chung was happy. He liked making his own money and liked this life better than the farm. But after only 2 months, his father found him. His father took him back to the village. But Chung had seen a different life. He did not want to stay on the farm. In the next 2 years, he left home 2 more times and went to the city of Seoul. But every time, his father found him and brought him back home. His father told him, "You are just a farm boy. You finished only 6 years of school. You will not be successful in the city." But these words did not stop Chung. He saw a year when the farm did not grow well and the village had no food. Chung decided to leave home 1 more time. This would be his 4th escape. This time he planned not to return. He wanted a better life. 3. First small shops. Chung arrived in the city of Seoul after his 4th time escaping his home village. He needed work immediately. He took whatever jobs he could find. He worked as a laborer carrying heavy things. He worked as a construction worker building things. Later, he worked as a handyman at a factory that made starch syrup. These jobs were difficult and did not pay very much money. The next year, he found work that was much better. It was at the Bakhang rice store. The store hired him as a delivery man. His main job was to transport bags of rice to customers using his bicycle. This job was stable, which was important. It was different from his past jobs because it also gave him lunch and dinner every day. Chung worked very hard at the rice store. The owners saw his strong work ethic. They were very impressed by how dedicated he was. Because of his hard work, he moved up quickly in the store. After only 6 months of working there, he became the store accountant, managing the money. Over the next few years, the owner of the store started having health problems. He realized he could not manage the shop any longer by himself. So he made a decision. He decided to sell his business. He sold it to his young worker, Chung Ju-young. Chung was only 22 years old when he took over the Bakhang rice store. This was a big step for him. Chung quickly changed the name of the business. He called it the Kyungul Rice Store. He worked hard to build a new group of customers for his store. He did this by offering low prices for the rice he sold. His business became very successful very quickly. The money the store earned went higher and higher each year. The Kyungul Rice Store quickly became known as one of the best and most popular rice shops in the city. However, a big problem came that stopped his success. The Japanese government was in control of Korea at that time. They started a system to control rice distribution very strictly. They called it a rice rationing system. They did this because they were at war with China and needed to send rice to Japan and their army. This new rule meant that many Korean business owners could not trade rice freely anymore. Chung was one of these owners. He was forced to close his successful business. He had no other work or money saved to live on. Because of this, he had to go back to his home village again. But Chung did not stop thinking about the future. He still had a strong desire for a better life and to build something. In the year 1940, he decided to return to the city of Seoul. He wanted to try starting a new business venture. He thought about different types of businesses he could start that might be safe from government rules. He looked for businesses that the Japanese government had not put restrictions on. He found that the car repair business was a good idea and decided to try that next. 4. Fixing cars is hard. In 1940, Chung Ju-young went back to Seoul. He needed a new job, a new business. He thought about different ideas. He found one business that the government did not control much, fixing cars. People in the city needed their cars fixed, but there were not many repair shops. The shops that were there asked for a lot of money. Chung Ju-young did not know how to fix cars himself, but he saw a chance to make money. He borrowed money from the bank. With the money, he bought a small repair shop. He called it a do-service garage. He hired a good mechanic to do the work. Chung's plan was simple. He offered the lowest prices in the city. He was also very nice to his customers. This was a good plan. Many people came to his shop because it was cheap and the service was good. The business grew fast. Soon, he needed more mechanics to help with all the cars. His shop was doing very well, but after only a few months, something very bad happened. There was a big fire at the garage. The fire burned down the whole shop. All the tools were gone. Even the customers' cars that were inside were burned. This was a big problem. Chung Ju-young now had a lot of debt, the money he borrowed, and nothing to show for it. But Chung Ju-young did not give up. He thought there was only one way forward. He decided to borrow money again. He found a new place for his shop. It was in a part of the city where many people were. He opened his repair shop again. He still offered low prices and more customers came. The new shop became very successful. In the next 2 years, a do-service garage grew a lot. It became one of the best places to fix cars in Seoul. More than 70 people worked for him now. Chung was doing better than ever before. He wanted to make his business even bigger. But then, another big event changed everything. It was the Second World War. In 1942, the Japanese government in Korea took control of his garage. They needed places to help with the war. They joined his garage with a factory that made steel. Chung Ju-young lost his business again. Because of the war and losing his shop, he went back to his home village, but he had saved some money, 50,000 won. He started thinking about what business he could do next. 5. Building after war. The Second World War finished. Korea became free from Japan. Chung could open his business again. In 1946, he reopened his car repair shop. He gave it a new name, Hyundai Auto Service Center. The name Hyundai means modern in the English language. The shop started by fixing different types of vehicles. They worked on old cars left by the Japanese. They also repaired large trucks used by the U.S. military. The business quickly became successful. By the end of that year, the number of people working for Chung grew a lot. He had started with around 30 workers. Now he had about 80 people working for him. He had built a successful business again. Chung brought his family to live in the new country, South Korea. His family members also started working in the business with him. One day, Chung saw something important. His auto repair business got contracts for 300,000 or 400,000 won. This was good money for repairing cars. But he saw a company that built things get a very large contract. This construction company received 10 million won for just one project. Chung was amazed. He saw that building things could bring much more money than fixing cars. So, in 1947, Chung decided to start a second company. It was a construction company. He named it Hyundai Construction Company. In the beginning, this new company was difficult. It struggled to find work. They built small buildings for the U.S. Army. They also worked on places near the Army sites and fixed old buildings. Slowly, the construction business started to get better. By 1950, the Hyundai company was making good progress. But then the Korean War started in 1950. North Korea attacked South Korea. The war was terrible. Chung had to leave his business in Seoul. He had to move south quickly. He went to the city of Busan with no money. He and his brother had a hard time. They moved from place to place. They found small jobs. They worked for publishers. They also delivered newspapers to people and soldiers. This was to share news that help from other countries was coming. In Busan, Chung looked for work. He saw a sign that said the U.S. Army needed help. The U.S. forces needed local people who understood building. Chung was eager to work. He started building places for thousands of American soldiers during the war. These were simple buildings called barracks. He worked well with the U.S. Army and built a good relationship. Later, the U.S. Army gave Chung's team bigger projects. They remodeled a U.S. building in South Korea. They also built a place for the U.S. president to stay during visits. This work was very important for Hyundai. When the Korean War finished, Chung's company was in a strong position. They were one of the first companies the U.S. Army would ask for building jobs during the country's rebuilding time. 6. Learning from mistakes. After the Korean War finished, South Korea needed to build many things again. The country was very poor. Chung Ju-young saw a big chance for his construction company. He won a contract to rebuild a large bridge, the Goryeo Bridge, in 1953. This was a very big project for Hyundai, but building the bridge was very difficult. Chung's company did not have much experience with such a large job. They also did not have the right machines and tools. Prices for materials went up very fast because of inflation, but the contract price was fixed. There were also sad accidents at the building site. The work was slow and problems grew bigger. Soon, Chung's company lost a lot of money on the bridge project. They ran out of money to pay the workers. Chung's brothers had to sell their houses to help. The family had big debts. Other companies laughed at Chung and Hyundai. They said Chung did not understand big construction work or how prices change. It was a very hard time for Chung and his family. He felt very bad about their struggles. But Chung did not stop. He decided he would not give up on his company. He knew he had made mistakes and needed more experience. He thought of this failure as a very expensive lesson. Even though the Goryeo Bridge project was difficult and lost money, something good happened. The government saw that Hyundai finished the bridge even with all the problems. They saw that Chung was honest and worked hard. The government gave Hyundai a good credit score. This meant banks could give Hyundai loans more easily than before. Chung also learned how important it was to have good, strong machines for big building jobs. Because of his work with the U.S. Army before, he could buy heavy equipment directly from them. Other Korean companies could not easily get these big machines. This gave Hyundai a big advantage. With easier loans and better machines, Hyundai could offer lower prices for building work. They started to win many new government projects across the country. They built roads, more bridges, dams, and buildings. Hyundai grew very fast and became one of the biggest construction companies in South Korea. Chung did not stop there. He wanted Hyundai to be even bigger. He was the first person in South Korea to take his construction business to other countries. Hyundai won large contracts in places like Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. These projects were worth billions of dollars. In about 20 years, Hyundai went from a company with problems to a big global company. Chung's dream to build the biggest company in Korea started to come true. 7. Making Hyundai cars. The South Korean government had a new idea. They wanted companies in Korea to make cars. They said foreign car companies could only work with Korean companies. This was to help Korea learn how to build cars. Chung Ju-young decided to start a car business again. In 1967, he started Hyundai Motor Company. He made a deal with Ford, a big car company from America. Hyundai would build one of Ford's cars, the Cortina, in Korea. They built a large factory for this. The first Hyundai Cortina cars were made, but the Cortina was not good for the roads in Korea. The roads were not smooth like in other countries. The car had many problems. People laughed at the car and said it was useless. Customers stopped paying for the cars. Then in 1969, there was a big flood at the factory. Water damaged the machines and car parts. People heard this and thought Hyundai was selling cars damaged by water. This made things worse. The company almost had to close. But Chung said he would not stop. He kept making cars. Later, the roads in Korea got better. More people started to buy the Cortina. Hyundai and Ford planned to work on another car, but then they had problems. Ford did not want Hyundai to sell the cars in other countries. They only wanted Hyundai to sell in Korea. Ford also did not want to share the profits equally. Chung thought Ford just wanted to use Hyundai for cheap work. He was angry. In 1974, Chung stopped working with Ford. He decided to make a new car himself. He worked with a company from Japan, Mitsubishi, for the engine and other parts. He also hired car designers from Europe to help make the car look good. This new car was called the Hyundai Pony. The Pony was good for Korea's roads. It was also not expensive, about $5,900. People in Korea loved it. It was the first car made in large numbers in Korea. 4 out of every 10 cars sold in Korea were ponies. Hyundai wanted to sell the Pony in other countries. It sold well in some places like Canada, but it could not be sold in the United States. This was because of rules about air pollution. The Pony was not clean enough. Chung did not give up. In 1985, Hyundai made a new car, the Hyundai Excel. This car met the rules for the US market. Hyundai could finally sell cars in America. The Excel was very cheap, only about $4,995. Many people bought it because of the low price. In the first year, they sold 168,000 Excels in the US. They sold 1 million more around the world. This was a big step for Hyundai, but there was a problem. The Excel was cheap, but the quality was not very good. The cars often needed repairs. People started to think Hyundai cars were not reliable. Hyundai got a bad name. Sales started to fall. People made jokes about Hyundai cars. The company had to work hard to fix its reputation. 8. A top car company today. Hyundai cars were not always good. About 30 years ago, some people thought they were cheap and not good quality. People even made jokes about them. Their cars often had problems and needed fixing. But things changed a lot. Hyundai worked very hard to make their cars much better and more reliable. In the 1990s, the company put a lot of effort into improving quality. They hired many talented engineers and designers. They invested heavily in research to develop better technology. They also improved how their factories worked to build cars better. They started making new cars like the Accent, the Sonata, and the Elantra. At first, these cars were not very popular and still faced issues. But slowly, they were improved with the latest features and became more dependable. More people started to buy them. In 1998, Hyundai bought another car company named Kia Motors. This was an important step. Working together, Hyundai and Kia shared knowledge and resources. They both invested heavily in making their cars better quality and improving their look. By 2004, their efforts showed great results. In an important study that checked how good cars were when new, Hyundai was ranked very high. They were tied with a big company called Honda as the second best, right after Toyota. Even with high quality, people still remembered the old problems and bad reputation. To show customers they were serious about quality, Hyundai did something special. In the United States, they offered a 10-year or 100,000-mile warranty on their cars. This was a very long time and distance for a warranty. This promise showed people that Hyundai trusted their own cars. It helped people trust Hyundai again. Because of this, sales grew a lot, and Hyundai became one of the top car brands in the 21st century. Today, the company, now called the Hyundai Motor Group, is one of the biggest car companies in the world. They are the third biggest automaker globally, selling more cars than General Motors. They are also a leader in making new types of cars, like electric vehicles, for the future. Chung Ju-young, the man who started it all, lived a long life. In his later years, he was known for helping many people and projects. He died in 2001. After he passed away, his sons took charge of the company. Hyundai is now a top global company, a result of many years of hard work, learning, and strong leadership.